Welcome to Dave D's Random Watch Select. I knew what I wanted to watch that night and I didn't spend hours looking. I was like, I want to watch Leprechaun. I found this on a very good deal. 7 movies. The 7th one, which does not have Warwick Davis in it. But once I get to it, once I start drawing some of these, if that comes up, and once I get through all the other ones, I'll watch it. But the original Leprechaun, I have fond memories of as a child watching that movie. I pretty sure we rented it, maybe not, or I waited till it was on Showtime or HBO, one of those things. It was one of the first movies, a couple movies that I recorded on VHS that I could watch whenever I wanted. That was amazing. I watched it quite a bit. But the movie features Warwick Davis from Willow as the title character, the Leprechaun. He ends up trapped in a crate, and the character Tori, I think her name is, played by Jennifer Aniston before Friends, and a couple other characters. They end up getting this leprechaun out, and it starts wreaking havoc on them and kind of kills some people here and there. You know, a movie of that nature, of course, you're going to have some death. So I don't think we are spoiling anything here. But the movie plays, and what I didn't know when I bought this, it had some special features with it. The movie was not intended to be a straight horror film. It was intended to be a kids movie, a kids horror film, PG-13. And what the director, Mark Jones, who wrote some Scooby-Doo episodes, I guess, back probably, I would assume, in the 80s era. Was that when Scrappy-Doo was the thing? Probably. So he wrote this movie to be that, a children's movie, PG-13, scary, probably like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. However, the studio didn't see it that way. They wanted the gore, they wanted the rated R, which is very ironic considering the studios have gone the opposite now, where they'll take the R-rated franchise and try to make it PG-13, which usually I'm not against, but when you see or are told that's what they did with Leprechaun, you can see it on how that movie was made. You can see the light end of it, the goofiness of it. You can see that angle of it, and then all of a sudden during reshoots, you can see that the tone totally changes and it's very dark and sadistic. So the movie, it sounds like the director knew what they wanted to do, which Warwick Davis was on board when he was playing the Leprechaun, but the studio did not want that. So the movie, some movies can successfully balance both the comedy and the horror, the thrills, the scares, the laughs. But from that perspective, you can see that this movie did not do that great, because they were the two scenes, the stuff was either too silly, like with the leprechaun doing his little leprechaun laugh and having this compulsive disorder, shining shoes. I mean, there's some silly stuff. The way he's riding the bicycles, the go-karts, and the laugh. I mean, they were trying to go light, dark, light horror. The studio wanted the dark horror, so when they did the reshoots to amp up the deaths, there was only like 4, 3, 2, not a whole lot, but those are pretty gruesome. Like not, I wouldn't say over the top, but if you're trying to say it's like to be a kid friendly one, which all those scenes show that way. In fact, they don't really swear. I think they swear only maybe once, maybe twice, to lock in that R rating for sure, because there are rules on that. But this movie did not have a lot of swearing in it. but the gore was pretty intense. Leprechaun, I actually look forward to seeing some of the sequels, because I've only seen this one and maybe part 2 more than a few times. And I, in terms of like all the other horror franchises, in terms of the character, it's a good addition. I mean, he looks kind of creepy. He's a scary leprechaun. And I would like to see, it'd be nice to see him do more of these movies, but as time goes on and Warwick Davis is tied with a lot of Lucasfilm projects now, he probably does not have a lot of time for a movie like Leprechaun. The movie has its it doesn't really have thrills, but the fun moments, the funness of the movie is good, but when you know that the movie was designed to be one way and now it's kind of another way because the studio wanted it that way, you can tell the tone difference, and that unfortunately shows when you watch the movie. And maybe even if you weren't aware of the tone difference, you might even pick up on that. So that's a pretty strong weak point for the movie. I would still give it 2.5 stars. It's borderline between okay and good. It's kind of in between those two. So 2.5 stars for Leprechaun. Until next time, this is Dave D's Random Watch Select.